coming. We really hope you enjoyed the record as much as we enjoyed making it. We know it's a bit different, but yeah, I think it's really cool that we get to do this. I think it's really cool that you get to sit down and listen to it together and listen to it in full front to back so you can really understand it. I don't know where I'm going with this. But yeah, I think we're going to do a bit of a Q&A now so you can ask us any questions you might have about the record. It doesn't matter what kind of question it is, whatever you feel like asking.
Cool. We can start with you.
Yeah, so what motivated the change in sound?
I'm just going to repeat that question just for the live streaming. So what motivated the change in direction?
John.
Nothing really. I mean, we've always written the same way. It just is what it is, unfortunately. I can't explain it.
What? Talking to the microphone. I'm talking to the microphone.
It's yeah. The process has always been. Is it? Oh yeah.
That one seems to be on.
This is a dud.
It's working. You'd think by now we'd know how to use microphones, but we clearly don't.
Ever use the microphone. Yeah. No, the process. There, I hear myself now. The process has always been the same as it's always been. So, the change in sound, I think, is as natural as it could be. It just is what it is. Yeah.
Cool. Next question. John T.
Why did you decide to re-record parts of Rock?
So why did you decide to re-record parts of Rock?
Well, I think as a whole, we all had just kind of gotten a lot more comfortable with Rot as well, like having played it for, 3-4 months before going to the studio. And yeah, a lot of things would have changed, I suppose, performing that every night. A lot of things might not have changed how they play it, but I suppose everyone would have been more comfortable, and recording it has just come more naturally now than it would have when we first started.
For one, putting it on an album, you want the guitars also to be of the same quality and stuff like that as well. So like, for it to be able to sit on the album where everything else is recorded new, it would stick out it would stick out quite oddly if we didn't re-record certain parts. But we had parts that we were happy with, and the time saving as well. We thought the performance part on those other bits that stayed were sufficient enough. Yeah.
And like Marcus's voice developed quite a bit in the touring that we did between recording Rot, which was only a few weeks into him being in the band. So very early days to the record, which was like probably 10 weeks worth of touring.
I think when we recorded Rot, like the first version, we'd never actually really played live together before. So I suppose, yeah, once you've started doing that a bit more, it becomes a lot more natural. And
Sorry.
Cool. Have we answered that question? Yeah. Okay, next question.
Do you guys believe in sticking to your roots of your earlier stuff to some extent?
Sticking to our roots. Sorry.
Like your previous material. So like, do you believe that you should keep some of the sound you've got in Discoveries, for example, or even Whole Existence in your new sound? Or
It's not really a thing that we think about. That's what I was trying to address with the first question. It kind of just is like a natural progression. We're not trying to sound like anything. And that's just because of the way that I write. Like, it's just writing into a computer that's recording and then just picking out the best bits and developing on them. It kind of just is what it is. Yeah. So I don't know if that really answered the question.
I think like we are who we are, and we're like constantly trying to push ourselves in different directions when it comes to our music. So like, while we'll still retain who we are as a band, which you would have heard in the record, like, it's not a progression, but you can still hear who we are within it. That's like the constant. It's not really what we think about. We don't go, oh yeah, this needs to be like this part on this album. It's like, cool, like how can we make this song the best we can, you know? And sometimes that's going back to something that we know works, and sometimes it's going, oh, we can do something we haven't done before here and be interesting, you know? The other thing is too, though, like from touring the songs that we've already written and recorded and released, learn what works live and what doesn't work live, and I think that has a lot to do with how these songs turned out as well. So we had a lot of like perspective on how the dynamics of the songs would translate in a live sense, and every record we get better and better at you know, recording songs to translate better live and sound more like they do on record in a live sense. So that kind of what I said at first. Does that make sense? Cool.
Great. Another question?
What is the main writing process? Like, I've heard that John writes a lot of stuff, but are there any songs on there that, like, someone else has just gone, here's a song, like, let's work on this?
Definitely not.
Not really. Yeah, Johnny will take control of most of the music, I suppose. But yeah, me and Josh will kind of focus on the vocal stuff together.
I can't do any of that.
Yeah, so I suppose Josh would focus on a lot of on the lyrical content of everything, and I'd be more on the melodic side and the rhythm side of that. But we'd always, you know, bounce stuff off each other, which was a really cool kind of vibe. It was, I suppose, really good for us to both focus on our different aspects on the vocals and make them the best they can be, as opposed to one of us just trying to smash out everything and, you know, probably not, like, we probably wouldn't have gotten as good a product as we have now with doing that. So,
and I think like Nick fleshing the drums out too in a real world sense definitely adds to the writing process too, but everything starts with him. Yeah. Yeah, John like has this crazy process where he seems to like visualize every instrument in his head for a section at the same time, and then like once he's written that part, or even more than the part, like the whole song every spawns from that, and it's like icing on the cake instrumentally, and then the vocals and lyrics.
Great. Next question. Yep.
Will you be in Unify next year?
I don't know.
Luke?
We haven't gotten an offer yet, so
I hope so. It was such a, like, yeah, that last
he
one
hasn't
was...
booked it. Ask him.
Yeah, the last one was so rad though. Like the vibe the vibe of Unify this year was so mental.
Did you go?
Yeah,
it was sick, huh?
Yeah.
You're still wearing it? Do you wash? I'm sorry, I'm just kidding.
Great. Anyone else? Yes.
How would you sum up what Node is about, like, lyrically, I guess?
I might just repeat that one so everyone's checking out the stream.
What?
How would you describe Node lyrically?
Where do I start? The lyrical concepts of Node kind of came from a narrative of how I see the world, both on like a global level and like a personal level. But the overwhelming message within the lyrics is that you can be the change that you want to see, and that's sort of summed up in the song Node. But I want people to, if they're going to listen to the lyrics, walk away from the record with a sense of self-empowerment, because I think that's really important to know that you're not insignificant and that you can make a difference if you choose to. Yeah, I could ramble on, but I'll leave it at
I
that.
think something cool, like, in that sense, I did an interview the other day, and the whole, like, in the US, lesbian and gay, I suppose, being able to marry thing has happened in the last few days, and you know everyone's got their opinion on that. But it's cool to see, like, it didn't end up being, I suppose, government sorting that out, but it really happened without, I suppose, people having spoken out about it, and really it kind of shows that if you really do believe in something and are passionate and push something, that really you can make a change.
And the power rests on the individual. Like, if it wasn't for Martin Luther King, the whole like equality movement in the 60s would have been totally different and maybe not so successful, you know. So like I firmly believe that the power for change rests in the individual to both empower other people and inspire other people, and that's why it's so important, because quite often you'll feel insignificant about the things that you're changing within your life, that you think is socially or globally responsible depending on what's important to you, but you lose sight of the fact that everything you do is seen by other people, and they recognize what you're doing, and you have influence on everyone in your circle, and it's important to recognize that.
Great. Next question. Oh, we have one from a YouTube user who's streaming live right now.
Hello.
The question is from Lewis, and it says, where did the inspiration artwork come
Shut up.
I think we all kind of had a little bit of an insight to it. John had some like references and stuff, but we kind of wanted like
the symbols.
We kind of wanted to step away from the cube and to kind of like.
Hey, let's take it back a step. So a node is a point of intersection where different paths meet and different paths diverge, and the entire idea behind the artwork is a visual representation of that. But I also feel like the other guys will probably have something more to add to this, but I always also feel like sometimes it's good to just enjoy art for art's sake, and that's why we went for something that was a lot more stripped back and simple.
I kind of feel like the representation of the upside down triangle is more like power to the people as well. I don't know if any of you seen V for Vendetta, but it kind of touches base on that quite a bit. And yeah, I think it's a pretty powerful symbol in itself, and we've somehow managed to meld it into the idea of node as well.
Great. Any other questions? Sure.
Don't be shy.
What's the weirdest question you've been asked at listening party so far?
Oh, wasn't it something about your beard?
Yeah,
dude?
I don't know. Someone just asked how long I've been growing my beard. It was just out of nowhere.
It was German.
I hadn't really been asked anything specifically the whole time except for that. Just like, yeah, how long has it taken you?
Come on.
I suppose it's like.
Are you looking to grow your own?
It's 4 months now. It's 4 months.
I feel
but
your
I'm
pain.
getting rid of it.
3 days, 5 minutes.
4 seconds.
We have another question from a YouTube user. They're asking individually, what is a personal favourite from Node and why? So we'll start with Nick.
Individually, okay. Well, personally, I find Leech is pretty cool because it has some cool drum parts and it's pretty heavy. But then again, I kind of feel like it changes a lot. Initially, it wasn't Leech. It was probably Weightless. I think that's a pretty cool song, but I'm just gonna go with Leech.
Great, John.
I like Ohm because it was the first song that was finished, and before Ohm, there were only a couple of ideas, and I guess that was kind of like a milestone.
Well, Fun Dome was initially going to be the first single we
Before
released.
Rot.
Yeah, before Rot.
And then management said it wasn't heavy enough. So we did Rot.
Yeah, look at them. Stare him down.
Yeah, for me, I suppose, I don't know, it's still just a toss-up between Weightless and Animate. But I suppose, yeah, for Animate, it's just a good representation of, like, I suppose, how the album sounds as a whole. Yeah, it's got a bit of everything, a bit of back and forth on the vocals. But yeah, I don't know, I just think that song as a whole kind of just, yeah, sums up the album pretty well.
For me, like, Weightless was the only song that didn't really get pulled apart when we hit the studio. Pretty much every other song that there was lyrics for got scrapped and started from scratch in this. Wow, dude. Started from scratch in the studio because it just wasn't good enough. but Weightless kind of stuck where it was, and it's pretty special to me because of that, and I like it.
My favourite would have to be Node, I guess. When I heard, the rough riffs and stuff John had for it, and I never expected Northlane to write a song like that, and it's just kind of stuck with me, and the lyrical parts to it is, I don't know, it's my favourite.
What's your favourite?
What did you guys like?
We have another YouTube user question, and the question is, what inspired you to produce this album differently to other albums in your genre and your past albums?
Sorry, I completely had a blank. Can you repeat it?
What inspired you to mix and produce this album differently to other albums in your genre and your past albums?
It's probably not good for the stream. That was being
Yeah, sorry, I don't know what I was doing. I guess when we were thinking about how we wanted this record to sound, we sort of looked back to all the records that had made a big impact on our lives, and a lot of it was a lot of 90s bands and early 2000s bands like Linkin Park you could probably hear in the record, Incubus you could probably hear in the record. We're huge fans of Limp Bizkit, no shame at all. Well, they were cool.
Yeah, Gold Cobra, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about Gold Cobra, but all power to them. Can you let me talk?
Deftones is pretty cool as well.
Yeah, I hope none of them are what. No, I love Limp Bizkit. Anyway, so what we realised was that a lot of the stuff that we enjoyed and seemed timeless to us was produced in a really natural way, and was sort of produced in a way that didn't adhere to any trends in that period of time, and that's why you can still listen to it now. And even one of my other favorite records, which is Blood Sugar Sex Magic, the Red Hot Chili Peppers album, glad you guys like it too, is also a timeless record because of how it's produced. And we thought if we went for something that was more neutral and more natural sounding, then we could sort of create something that wouldn't have such a timestamp on it, and wouldn't be so like pigeonholed into what the production makes it. That makes sense.
Cool. Does anyone else have any questions? Yes.
I've got two.
Yeah.
Steady.
One at a time.
Were the titles of some of the songs actually inspired by Yu-Gi-Oh or not?
John.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
I thought that as well. Because when I first came into the band, I think they were all still titled.
I actually used to watch Yu-Gi-Oh when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I think that could
Subliminal.
Just be like,
It's
yeah,
just
subliminal. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the titles for the songs were like working titles that I gave them when I was making them, just so I could tell which when I was in a demo mode.
But you sort of thought about like how the song felt to you when you were writing it.
We tried a couple of different things, I guess, like Obelisk. We changed the name a couple different times, and
Like 5 times.
we came back to Obelisk because it stuck. Everybody liked it, and all the other ones kind of were pretty bad.
Well, some of them were alright, but yeah. I think like the names John gave the working titles were also like the inspiration for where the lyrics started from as well. So a lot of them just stuck as they were because they made sense in the grand scheme, and like a lot of them were like more simple and shorter, understated words than traditionally our songs have had, which you might have noticed, and we thought that was pretty cool too. So yeah, whatever.
But yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh's tight.
Cool. So we're going to wrap up shortly, but we've got a couple more questions from some YouTube users.
They're not even here.
Yeah.
They didn't even rock up.
These people get the.
These people got tickets and stuff. Yeah, over here. Yeah, this guy.
Okay.
Second question.
Someone else wanted.
I saw him.
He's doubling up. Let's hear it. What is 663?
Node.
What is Node, guys?
It spells node on
So if you get out your Nokia 3310 and you
if you crack out your Nokia, it's
Yeah.
Boys, send me a text with 6633.
Oh, you have one. Oh, you have one. Wow.
He keeps it just for that
You're
question.
extinct.
Yeah. It's my prop phone.
He keeps it solely for that question.
Cool. Your question?
When you do headlining shows, are you planning to play a lot of that live? Like,
Yes.
Wait, we need to repeat the question so the people on the online stream can hear it. Are we planning to play a lot of this material live?
Thanks, Josh.
Sorry, Maya.
Do you want to answer that, Maya?
I'll answer that one.
Do you want to answer that one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll still be playing, some old material, but yeah, it'll be a pretty node-heavy set.
I think it's actually quite a contentious topic at the moment because we're actually picking a set list for all the headline stuff that we have coming up. And while I'm on this topic, we are headlining Australia before the end of the year. And the lineup's pretty sick, so I'll see you all there. We'll announce
Shameless
that pretty soon.
self-promotion.
Yeah, just while the camera's rolling. But yeah, we're actually having quite a hard time deciding what stays in the set from what we've been playing or what we introduce. Because obviously, as you've heard, the record's quite diverse, so it's very hard to pick, what's gonna be appropriate live. I don't know. Yeah, well, that's the problem we have. We just want to play the whole record, but then, then we'd be playing a 2-hour set, and yeah, got to spend a couple of weeks at the gym before we do something like that.
Okay, and the final question we have is from YouTube user Jack. I thought we'd end on this one. Individually, what are your kebab orders? Start with Nick.
Question of the night.
Jack.
Thank you, Jack.
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked this, Jack. I don't know.
Wait, does Jack work in a kebab shop? Is he going to shout us free kebabs?
Is he ordering us kebabs right now?
Obviously, it's got to be halal.
Jack's his cousin.
Obviously halal.
Obviously halal to start with, but I don't know. Mixed kebab's always great, But I'll probably go chicken.
What about a snack
just
box?
to keep it snack box. I don't know. It's
Snack
hard.
box gets pretty intense.
To be honest, it's a hard.
It's a lot of
hard
grease.
question.
It's harder than we ever thought.
I'm just gonna go with chicken kebab.
Okay, chicken.
Probably either a chicken or a falafel.
Falafel. Fuck.
How you can't beat falafel. You really can't.
Falafel's good.
So who likes
the works,
falafel?
with the
Can I
works.
get a show of hands?
Falafel over chicken.
Who doesn't like
Majority
falafel? Yeah, boys.
And there's a lot of
Minority.
falafel.
Falafel wins.
Clear majority.
Yeah, chicken with the salads.
With a lot. Chicken with the salads.
I'm a hummus boy. I like my hummus with falafel and lettuce, tomato, tzatziki if they have
And the
it.
wrap.
In a wrap.
Tzatziki.
Or on a plate. Yeah. I'm also a big fan of baklava and
Pide.
pide and...
What's that other one?
I could destroy a garlic pide right now.
No. What? What's it called? The flat ones. They're so good. I love them.
A panini.
Goslem. Goslem is my favorite. Feta and spinach. Mwah.
Okay,
Ryan
on to
Gosling.
Milo.
I'm going to refrain from being an idiot, but
Serious
definitely
talking.
falafel. With some maybe spinach and cheese pide.
No one ever gets.
We always just order falafel though, we're all talk.
Pretty much half of my family own a kebab shop, so that's a joke.
There's a lot of good kebab shops around where we live. We tried everything on the menu.
Great. All right. Well, that concludes
Great, yeah.
And the shishas.
section of the
Don't
listening
care.
session. In a couple of minutes, we'll give your phones back to you. You guys can get some stuff signed and get a photo with the band. Cool. Thanks.
Some of you may not
Thank
get
you.
your phones back.